If you tried meditation or you are meditating already since a while, but you still have that feeling that it's not changing anything, or at least it doesn't have that effects that people are telling you that it's life-changing, healing, this video might be for you. I made that experience too, that I meditated for many years and I came to that point again and again where I had that feeling that nothing was really changing. So I was triggered again and again by the same kind of situations, and I had again and again all that emotions and feelings that were coming up. And then I felt like that all this meditation doesn't bring anything. It doesn't bring that life-changing effects that people are telling, because I felt that I'm coming back again and again to the same point, and in some way I'm running in a circle, so there is no big change. And I wonder myself how to step out of that circle so that there is the possibility to really change something and not being triggered again and again by the same kind of stuff. Meditating and doing this kind of meditative practice, but not feeling that there is any kind of difference or big change in my life. So in this video I'm going to share with you what, in my impression, most people are misunderstanding about meditation and sitting in silence. And I'm sharing that because I also had that experience and there was a big misunderstanding, and maybe it can be a help for you or an inspiration for you on your meditative journey. When we start to meditate, we have that idea because we are seeing all that people that are sitting in silence in that typical posture. We have that idea that meditation is about sitting in silence in that posture, and that's it. And then we start to meditate by sitting in silence, but what actually happens is that there are so many thoughts coming up, and we may recognize for the first time that we have all that thoughts in our mind continuously. And what we are doing then is we are trying to avoid them, because now we are in meditation, we want to meditate, and what happens is that we suppress all of that because we say to ourselves, now I want to meditate, I want to experience that silence. And then what happens is that we are suppressing all that is happening inside because we have that goal to meditate, to sit in silence. And that's actually a big misunderstanding, because we cannot come to that silence, to that state where we really feel silent, not only sitting in silence, but also experiencing that silence inside of us by pushing that thoughts away. It's impossible. My experience is that if we are pushing that thoughts and feelings away, we are suppressing them. There is kind of like that volcano inside of us that will come up at one point in the future. So they are not gone by suppressing them. Inside of us, there is still all of that, and this volcano will erupt sooner or later. So it's not possible to experience that silence by pushing everything away and being kind of like very focused with that idea, that goal to sit in silence, because that cannot happen any silence if we still have all of that inside of us, suppressing that, because under the surface all of that is there and it will erupt sooner or later. So what was really helpful for me in my meditative practice is to just watch all of that, not pushing it away. And we are very used to push things away because somehow all our surrounding is giving us the idea that there are things that they don't have to be there. So we are used to suppress in our daily life, and that's why we tend to do the same if we are in meditation. But what helped me was to just let everything be there, all that thoughts, all that emotions, and really allow yourself and give yourself that permission that everything is allowed, it can be there, and just watch all of that. And that's so valuable, and that's where real change can happen in your life. By watching that, all these thoughts and emotions are somehow dissolving by itself. And it's not suppression. By bringing that awareness to that, they are dissolving and silence is happening. But it's not a forced silence where one part of the mind is controlling the other part of the mind. So one part of the mind is pushing that thoughts and feelings away. It's not that. It's just being that witness of all of that that is happening inside of us. And that's really healing, because if we can see that thoughts, that emotions that are inside of us, then there is that big shift happening by itself, and it's not forced. It might be not that easy in the beginning, even if it sounds easy, because we are used to control everything in life. If you watch yourself in your daily life, I recognize that we are very used to that pattern to control things. And this pattern we also adopt in meditation, and then we start to control our thoughts. Also, in order to avoid seeing that, because there might be a lot of pain and painful emotions inside of us that we don't want to see. But to let them happen and really watch them is what will change your life immensely. At least this is my experience. So if I'm pushing things away, then they will come up at a later time, and maybe they're even more powerful then. So the only way to really change something is to dive into that by watching what is there and allowing all that emotions and thoughts to come up, and just see them as they are. And it's not about acceptance, because many people are sharing that you should accept that shadow sides, that dark sides, that emotions that we don't want to have. You should accept them. But for me, it's not about acceptance, because if you are accepting something, there also is that other part of non-acceptance. So there still exists that duality of acceptance and non-acceptance. For me, it's more about just let that be as it is, without accepting or not accepting. Just let it be as it is and watch it. Become aware of it, become conscious about it. And that brings a kind of understanding that was changing everything in my life. And that's why I want to share this with you in this video. It might be an inspiration for you. By seeing that pain, that emotions like anger, fear, sadness, this energy that was suppressed is becoming available, and this is healing. So in my experience, we can sit in silence for many years and nothing is really changing because we are not giving ourselves that freedom to really see whatever is inside of us. So we are sitting in silence, we are still pushing things away, and there will be no change, because real change can only happen, in my experience, if we have the courage to see all of that pain, that emotions, that thoughts, and all the patterns that are in the mind. If we have that courage to really see that, often we have that idea about ourselves that we are not that person that is angry. We are a really kind person, and we identify ourselves with one part, and the other part inside of us that we all have is suppressed. And that's actually the hindrance, where we are not giving ourselves that freedom to really change something in life. So for example, if you have that idea about yourself that you are that meditator, that experienced meditator that is meditating for so many years, and you are sitting in silence, and then suddenly anger is coming up, you are not allowing yourself to see that because it doesn't fit in your picture about yourself. And what actually happens then is you suppress it, and by that nothing will change. You're sitting in silence, you're having that idea about yourself that you are that silent person, that meditator. So inside of you there is no silence happening, and there can be no silence because deep down you have that anger inside of you, and that tension persists. So if you're allowing yourself to just watch that anger and come into that watchful perspective where you are de-identified from that idea that you have about yourself, then you are able to see that anger, and that anger dissolves, and then real silence can happen, and that's healing. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this video could be an inspiration for you on your path. I wish you a beautiful day and hope to see you in the next video.